My guest today is digital marketing expert Brandon Leibowitz. Welcome, Brandon.
Thanks for having me on.
Hi. Thanks for coming. Before I start, I always ask because I think it's very nice to hear your story from your mouth. So tell us who Brandon is.
Yeah, my name is Brandon Leibowitz, and I have been involved with digital marketing for the past 15 years, helping out businesses get more traffic through a ton of different resources, through Facebook, through Google, through doing like social media, doing social media, doing search engine optimization, doing email marketing, doing paid ads, kind of doing everything for businesses, but really focus more on search engine optimization just because that's a way to get free traffic. So all those things I mentioned work to get your website traffic, but I've really just focused more on the SEO side of things to help people get that free traffic, because why spend money on ads if you could get up there for free? So that's really what I've focused on over the past 15 years, is just trying to figure out Google's algorithm and how to tap into that to get that never-ending supply of free traffic from search engines.
Okay, all right, thank you. Search engine optimization. Now, what is that?
So search engine optimization is ranking websites on Google. So optimizing your website to make it show up on the free results in Google. So when you search in Google, there's going to be ads at the top and there might be ads at the bottom of Google. But in between those ads, there's always going to be 10 websites, and that would be the organic listings, which SEO is trying to get to your website ranked organically in those free listings that Google gives out.
Okay, so if you have good SEO, then you hopefully will be one of those 10 organic listings, right?
That is the goal, is putting the right keywords in the right areas. So when people search for your keywords, you show up on Google for those keywords.
Right. Okay. All right. So as you know, this podcast for the audience is mainly new podcasters. So how can SEO and search engine optimization help podcasters?
Well, we want to definitely make sure you put the right keywords on your podcast. So like title of your podcast, very important, but also title of each individual podcast show is really important to place keywords in there. Writing good descriptions in there helps all these different podcast directories kind of read through, just like Google reads through your website, like Stitcher or Spotify is going to read through or try to make sense of what your podcast is. And a lot of these, they're getting better at understanding voice, but they still heavily rely off content text. So like writing text, like if you could transcribe your podcast, even might be a little tough if it's a really, really long form one, but if you're doing like a 10 or 20 minute podcast, maybe you transcribe that, because content is so very important. The more content you have, for now, hopefully sooner they'll be able to fully take care and understand the human language. But even when you do like voice to text on like your cell phone, it doesn't always read it properly. It's getting better, but it's not 100%. Right. So it still relies heavily on text, and researching keywords is very important. There's a ton of tools out there that will let you research keywords. The best, I always tell people, is just inspiring competition. Everything is out there and open. You can just search for your keywords in any of these podcast directories or on Google and see who shows up on that first page. And you see what keywords they're using in the title of their podcast or the title of their shows, because that's going to kind of give you insight of what they're thinking, what mentality they're using. And if it's working for them, it's more than likely going to work for you. I would still double check and see how many people actually search for these keywords every single month using different tools. Like there's a Google Keyword Planner. I'm sure there's other ones specifically for different podcast apps or directories that you can utilize, but definitely researching keywords is so very important. Then another big part about SEO is getting other websites to talk about you, which is very true for podcasting. Is the more places that you could embed that podcast on third-party sites, the more places that you build up that trust, because then it's like a vote. Like all these other websites are voting for you. It's kind of like with YouTube. So to rank higher on YouTube, there's always this little share button on the bottom right of YouTube videos that says share this YouTube video. You could share it on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Pin, all over the place. But then it says embed it. And it gives you this little code that you can embed and add to your website.
Yes.
And the more places you can embed that video, the higher you're going to rank on YouTube. Same with the podcast. The more places you can embed that and just share that and get the word out there, more likely going to rank you. And then also one other thing is probably reviews. Reviews are really important. Not the number of reviews, but keywords in reviews are so very important for like ranking higher.
Oh.
So if someone leaves a review saying this podcast was great, so very informative, that's good. But if they could write something like, this podcast helped me learn about search engine optimization techniques to improve my business and get me more free traffic from Google. So you're putting all these keywords in there. That helps their read through those reviews and pull those keywords out and say, okay, this person's sentiment was talking about search engine optimization, or we constantly see people talking about podcast information. So maybe you're related to podcasting, but it's all about just having good quality content and making sure everything aligns.
Yes, thank you. So the key is having the correct keywords for which you want to be known for, and making sure you're everywhere so that Google can find you. Am I framing that right?
Yep. So you want to put the right keywords. First of all, focus on keyword research, and then just get the word out. Spread the word to as many people as possible via social media, via your own website, via reaching out to other podcasters and building relationships with them. And maybe they would share your podcast episodes on their website, and just trying to get that word out there any way possible.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing. And I introduced you as a digital marketing expert. Can you tell us what the trends are currently in digital marketing? I know we just talked about one, I believe is SEO, but if you could expand on that topic a little more.
With SEO, it's a lot of just nowadays content marketing. So you could build a website, and I could build a website saying I'm a mechanic and I do auto body mechanics. Then I could build a website and tell Google, hey, I'm a mechanic, send people over to my body shop to fix their cars. But Google is just like, all right, we see that you built this website, but we don't believe that you are who you say you are. Because I could put keywords all over it saying I'm a mechanic based in whatever city, Los Angeles. But Google doesn't want to send me to, or send people that location without making sure that I really exist. So what Google wants to see are third-party sites talking about me. They want to see that I'm on like Google Maps, I'm on Yelp, I'm on MapQuest, I'm on Apple Maps, I'm on Bing Maps, I'm on Yellow Pages, I'm on all these other maps. And then Google's like, okay, maybe you really do have a physical location here because you're on all these other maps. So it's really a lot of just like building trust up, because Google and all these websites don't trust anybody. So you have to build that trust up. And the way to build trust is by getting other people to talk about you, getting other websites to talk about you, getting other podcasts to talk about you, getting other social media channels, whatever it may be, but just getting other things, other websites talking about you is the number one aspect of SEO. Without that, you can put keywords all over your website, you're not going to get any rankings from Google. They don't trust anybody. They want to see, those are called backlinks. The more backlinks you have from quality websites, the more trust Google has. And then Google looks at the keywords on your website to figure out what to rank you for. But it doesn't work the other way around.
Yes. Well, it makes sense, right? Somebody has to protect your customers, right? So,
yep. And if Google's sending all that traffic, they want to make sure that you really are credible. They don't want to just send you to some website that all of a sudden just was ranking for keywords related to like automotive repairs, and then all of a sudden switches to like selling pharmaceutical drugs, which happens all the time. So we don't see it happen. We don't think that happens a lot, but it happens a lot. So I mean, you have to think about like the dark web too. Over half the websites are kicked off Google for weird, shady stuff. So Google just looks at everyone and just says like, all right, we see you, but we don't really think you are who you say you are, because too many people have tricked us over the years.
Right. Yeah, I imagine. All right. Thank you. All right. So you're big in social marketing. So tell us why should you post on social media? Like what good is that to us?
Social media is good to just get more visibility, more awareness, and get more exposure. Like if you write a blog post on your website, you should share it on social media. If you're creating a new video, if you're a guest on a podcast, or you do your own podcast, you should share it on social media to help get the word out there, get more eyeballs on it, get more people watching it or reading it or viewing it or whatever the goal is. But social media is a great way to get more visibility and get more exposure without having to spend money on ads. You could run ads on those campaigns, but you don't necessarily need to. And social media, a lot of people think they're going to get clients off of it, which sometimes happens, but social media is really more for a way to build trust for people. Like people, you got to think like, I'm an SEO company, or like, for example, a doctor. Not many people are going to go on Facebook looking for a doctor. So social media is not always the best place to get new clients, but maybe you're looking at a dentist and you're like, all right, I want to go to this new dentist, but I've never been to them. I see they have really good Yelp reviews, but I can't really trust Yelp because there's a lot of fake reviews there. So let me check them out on social media and see if they have a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and making sure that they have a presence on there. And then also you could see people left reviews on Facebook and check out the reviews, or see if the dentist is still in operation. So it's really for building trust for people. Sometimes they'll get you clients, but really it doesn't work that way. Unless you're selling like a physical product that kind of goes viral or is like trendy, then possibly work to get new clients. But in general, social media is just a way to tap into your audience and be able to connect with them, engage with them, message with one another, have reviews, and really put a face behind the company. That's really what social media was built for, like 8, 10, 15 years ago, was like putting a face behind the company, because there is websites like, you could go searching on Google, just buy a new TV, and Amazon's always going to be up there. But maybe this website, Bob's TVs, is going to pop up and be like, who's Bob's TVs? But Bob's TVs might have been around for 80 years. They're a legitimate business, but you just don't know about them. You're like, who is this Bob's TV? And then all of a sudden Facebook came around where you could create a Facebook page and people could ask you questions and engage with you. And it says, okay, wait, Bob's TVs is really a legitimate business. They've been around for longer than Amazon, or so I could trust them. But before that, it was kind of trust these like websites, which is like, who is this website? How can I trust to spend my money, put my credit card information in there? Thinking like 15 years ago, it's like, it's a little weird back then. Now everyone's just fine, just clicking, sending their information away. But back then, you had to build the trust up to people. And that's what social media is really good for, is building trust.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And yeah, it does. Thank you very much. Tell me about a time. I noticed that you've been in the digital marketing space for a long time, over a decade. Yeah. Tell us about the time you failed. You thought your effort sucked.
Yeah, no, it's happened a few times. I mean, with SEO or digital marketing, it's all about trial and error, because unfortunately, there's no playbook saying, all right, here's the steps to get you ranked higher on Google, or here's what you need to do for social. I mean, people put content out there on like YouTube and stuff like that, but you have to take everything with a grain of salt, because what works today doesn't necessarily work tomorrow. Google changes their algorithm every single day. Social media platforms emerge, pop up, new ones emerge, some disappear. And so it's always just trying to stay afloat and just trying to keep up with all the latest updates and trends. And something like one big flop was me trying to focus a lot on Google Plus. So I don't know if anyone remembers when Google Plus came up a few years ago. That was Google trying to compete with Facebook. And I spent a lot of time and effort building up my audience on there, where I think I had like 70,000 I think they were called like circle followers or whatever it was called back then. But spent a lot of time building it up, only to find out a few years later, Google just cancels it all and just closes it all. So all that time and effort I spent on that social media platform just disappeared. So back then, that really made me realize, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, you got to diversify. You can't trust anything. Like, even like if you're ranking really good on Google and you're getting all the traffic from Google, you still have to make sure that you have a good presence on social media. You have a good email drip funnel campaign set up, because you don't want to rely on one thing. Like, a lot of people have like an Instagram page where they're getting all this traffic, all these visibility, they're having a ton of followers, or maybe they have this TikTok profile where they're just huge on there, but everywhere else they don't have that big following. You have to diversify, because you never know what's going to happen. Or maybe you get blocked on one of these platforms. That's happened to me in the past, where someone's given me some content to post and it had music in there that I didn't know was copyrighted, and it's gotten triggered by Instagram and they actually took a page down. And so that's also something you gotta be careful about, because getting a page back is really tough. And that page had a few 100,000 followers on Instagram, and that one I still have not been able to get back. That was like one of my personal ones, and that one is kind of frustrating. Like, social media could be a little frustrating because there's no contact us form. I mean, they have one, but they don't really read it, and it's tough to get stuff back. So that's one thing I really realized, is just be careful with what you get, double check everything. Don't trust what other people send you. Is it going to be okay? And just really don't put your eggs in one
Yes.
basket. Diversify,
Yes.
diversify as much as you can.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And thank you for sharing those things, because a lot of times, you hear the wonderful, success stories and the 10,000 a month or 10,000 a day, but you don't hear all the frustration that happened. And yeah, I tried Google Plus too and got what you got. All right, thank you. So what is Brandon grateful for today?
No, I'm just grateful that I have my friends and family and that I was able to quit my job a few years ago to really focus on freelance work and just continue to do what I enjoy. That's really important. It's making sure that you do something that you enjoy and not just waking up just to wake up and going into an office, but actually something that helps out and like working with businesses and helping them succeed.
Yes, thank you. And give me one piece of advice for a new podcaster starting out or, inching along, trying to get their episodes out and trying to navigate this space, because there's a lot of big players. And if we allow ourselves to focus on them, then we are in trouble, right? So give us a piece of advice, as we're starting out, about how we can navigate the digital landscape.
I would say find something niche. So if you could differentiate yourself somehow from everyone else, because I know that it's become pretty saturated, the podcasting market nowadays. Everyone seems to be jumping on it. So you got to figure out, what can I do that differentiates myself from everyone else? And also be patient. Like, everything takes time. It's not going to just immediately just skyrocket to the top. You're going to have to build it up and build it up and build it up, because a lot of people kind of just start doing something and then a month or 6 months later, there's like, I'm not seeing this traction, but you have to keep going and going and going. And over time, you're going to see that growth. It might not be a giant hockey stick, but it might just be slow. But over time, it's going to keep growing and growing and building and building. But you got to keep sticking with things and don't give up with it, because all this stuff does take time. There's a lot that you need to do initially to build it up. And even once it's built up, there's a lot you still need to do, but you'll be able to have a team helping you out by then, hopefully, and just keep working at it and find that one unique thing that helps differentiate you from everybody else. That's going to really help you stand out and get noticed by other people.
Yes, thank you very much. And how can we get in touch with you?
So everyone that stuck around, thanks for listening. And I created a page on my website with a special gift for everybody. So if they go to SEOoptimizers.com/gift, they can find that page right there. So once again, it's SEOoptimizers.com/gift. And they can find all the information there.
Okay, all right. And are you on Instagram, or where somebody could say hi, or Twitter?
Yep, if you search my name, Brandon Leibowitz. So BrandonLeibowitz. So you'll be able to find me on all the social platforms, or YouTube might be the best, because I do a lot of other classes where I give out information about all aspects of digital marketing, Google Analytics, Search Console, how to run Facebook ads, Instagram, YouTube marketing, how to rank higher on Google Maps, on Yelp, all that stuff. So if they want to learn more, that might be the best. But also the website, SEOoptimizers.com/gift has all that information as well.